There's a lot of people in the Southeast, especially on the Gulf Coast, without power, and it brings to mind the grid goes down fairly easily in certain places under bad circumstances with weather. How vulnerable are we if the grid got attacked? We have an expert. She's going to tell you. Clara Lopez, Hurricane Beryl is on its way to destroy the East Coast, at least the Gulf Coast. And there's a lot of people without power. I can tell you, having been through a couple of those monster storms down in Houston, it looks like the end of the earth, literally, when those storms roll in. And then the power goes out. I'm curious, you know so much about grid vulnerability. You and I have talked about it for years. It raises the interesting question on a related note. The hurricane sort of makes us think about it, but we are so vulnerable as a country with our grids being so connected that one gets attacked and goes down, we're all screwed. And some of the conversations are, how many people will die if we lose power for a couple of months because of a specific designated attack on the power distribution system of the United States? Is the message getting delivered to Congress yet while we're sending billions overseas instead of fortifying the grids?
You know, we can begin with the thankful part of this, and that is that when Beryl did make landfall on the east coast of Texas, it came ashore as a much downgraded storm from what it could have been, although there are many more coming behind it. That was a storm that formed only in the latter part of June this year, early, very early. But you're right about the grid. And the thing is that we have three interconnected grid segments in the United States: the Eastern, the Western, and Texas. And Texas has been doing probably one of the better jobs among the states, which, because exactly of lack of action at the federal level in Congress to mandate securing the civilian electric grid, Texas and a few other states like Colorado and a few others actually has been taking steps to secure itself as a state that could mitigate at least some of the worst damage that might otherwise be caused. But even so, we've got hundreds of thousands of people right now in Texas without power from a category 1 storm in the midst of summer blazing heat. So this is a very serious issue.
You know, it's related. And I did a show on this a couple of months ago. We have EV, electric vehicle mandates in so many states now that we must, by law, convert from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles. And in location after location, the power companies are saying, don't plug in. We can't supply the electricity. Literally, the grid crashes in California in some places, and the California Public Utilities Commission sends out these urgent bulletins, unplug your cars. And we're at like that percent converted in California. And at the same time, they're closing down coal-fired plants, oil-fired plants, nuclear plants. So the availability of dependable power is decreasing, while at the same time, the electric power demands are going to the moon. And as you say, in one place, we're fortifying the grid, we're building vulnerability or building over vulnerability holes. Are we creating a man-made disaster that puts us in such a vulnerable position that, God forbid, somebody blows up one substation and everything crashes?
Well, no, not one substation, but a total of 9, and that's not public which ones they are, would crash the entire U.S. grid. And
whoa. Back up. 9 substations can bring down the power supply to over 300 million Americans?
Yes. We don't know, that's classified, which substations they are, but total of 9, yes. But here's the thing. You know, where do electric vehicle recharging stations get their energy from? Oil, petroleum.
Right.
happy to say that my own state, where I live in Virginia, is one of, I think it's almost half. 24, 25 of the states total have now passed legislation at the state level that they will not follow the example of California for the EV requirements. But others still are. And as you say, middle of summer, blazing heat. I mean, we're in a heat wave this summer already, and they're telling people don't plug in your cars. So I guess just stay home.
I'm sticking with my gasoline-powered vehicle. Thank you very much.
Me too.